everyone. My name is Bruce, and I'm from Taiwan. But I spent pretty much half of my life in Silicon Valley, joining different startups. Some succeeded, some failed, until recently, actually not so recent, from 2013, 4 years ago, I started my own company, Insto. It's been a pretty lengthy and difficult process, so I would like to share the story of how I built this startup with an overview. So I will first start with a very brief story of Insto. Back in 2013, I was in Kansas City checking out Google Fiber. At the time, Google just launched their very first fiber project in Kansas City. So I was there, spent a few months, and I decided to incorporate a company. And at the time, I had an idea in mind. I want to build a service that could allow person-to-person installment payment to be made. So I first registered iinstallments.com with two I's. And form a company, because I saw I might be building multiple products. So at the time, I had a domain called capsule.com, which I kept from '97. So the first company name I had was Capsule Innovations, LLC, founded in Kansas City, Missouri. And then I flew back to Taiwan. I hired two of my former students when I was teaching in grad school, and they started from my apartment. And then I had a chance to purchase another domain called installments.com. And around the same time, I bootstrapped 300,000 from some friends. And also the following year, because I can share a little story. When I first approached the owner of the domain, I offered him to buy the domain in payment plan. And because I did not have, he asked for 50,000, but I did not have 50,000. So I said, how about I pay you $2,000 a month for leasing, and after 3 months, I'll pay you 45,000. And he said yes. Because I did not have the money, but I was pretty sure that I could build a working prototype within 3 months, and then convince my seed investors to raise some money. So I did that. And at the end, I bootstrapped 300,000 from my family and friends. So in 2014, I built a very first team. And then with the very early angel funding on hand, I had a team to start to build the very first product. And then I flew back to Silicon Valley to approach my friends to find the first around 10 or 12 users. And in summer of 14, I started to turn the service live. It was like a kind of an alpha test. And among the handful of users, one of them started to use the service repeatedly. So I figured there should be a market. And then I started to raise money, and for 8 months, I end up empty-handed. I went to approach maybe 100, at least over 100 investors and VCs. No one was interested. So until 2015, I think it was in February, by some chance, I got connected to one angel group in Silicon Valley. And then after my presentation, the guy who was listening told me, hey, this could be a billion-dollar business. So they led the investment, and in 2015, I closed a pretty large round of seed funding, 1.9 million. And since then, the company started to kind of take off, but not really, because we still have to learn from the market and keep pivoting. And last year, we received the very first round of institutional investment, 600,000, led by Systex, the largest financial software company in Taiwan. And in 2016, because we first focused on person-to-person installment payment, and after about a year of beta testing, we figured that not that many people need that. But a lot of users, beta users, told us that they need a very easy to use schedule payment app. For example, attorneys, they said like, I would like to my clients to pay me in 3 payments or 4 payments for like a green card application or a visa application. And gardeners, they say like, oh, I do not need you to guarantee my payment. I just need a handy tool to collect my service charge. So we decided to rebrand to Insto from installments. We were lucky because in 2014, we also took Insto as a domain for sure URL. And last year in December, we launched in the US, and we started to see some traction. And then we also encountered fraudster attacks. And but we very quickly fixed the rule and stopped the fraudster. And last month, in September, we launched in Taiwan. So there's 2 countries under service. Oh, here. Okay, and here, this page shows a bit of growth. We did about over a year of beta testing, and last year in mid-December, when we launched, we had maybe 200,000 in overall transactions. And in May, mid-May, we broke 500,000 in overall transactions. And in mid-August, we broke $1 million, the first $1 million of transactions achieved. And after we launched in Taiwan, just a couple weeks ago, on the 19th of September, we had over $20,000 of transaction in the first week. And right now, it looks pretty smooth, and everything seems to be growing. But I have to share with you some deadly moments during the startup process. In 2014, after I bootstrapped the first 300,000, and I actually offered 3 persons co-founder titles, but then all of them somehow fell apart. The first one was the CTO. I think it was in early, maybe April or May in 2014. She resigned because she was about to give birth. She's a very talented technology person. CMU, computer science alumni, and we love her. And I had 2 other co-founders who also put in money. And in December 2015, at the time, the investor and also the acting CFO tried to take over the company by colluding with some other board members. And I think I did something wrong by putting the investors in the company to be my colleague. But I also did something right because I started the company single-handed. So I still own the majority of common shares, and that can control 3 board seats. I can replace them anytime. And last year, again, another investor, at the time, the acting CSO, again tried to take over the company. And I think when the companies are not funded, everything seems to be working. But after the companies are funded, I think people change after money comes into the equation. And this year, we had another crisis. Our payment processor strike. When I was at Burning Man in early September, they gave us a 5-day notice. They say, oh, you guys have too much frauds. We're going to stop your service. So there was a 5-day notice, and I freaked out. I said, like, wow, if they stop our service, we will be dead. So I found a lot of help to reach their safety department and then prove that we actually have stopped the fraud in the past 3 months. In the recent 3 months, we had no frauds. All the disputes they saw was from like the first and second quarter. So at the end, we convinced them and we passed the crisis. So even though companies are looking growing and smoothly developing, I want to tell you that there's a lot of turbulence, either on the surface or hidden. And every year, I had to go through some very critical moment that could lead to the termination of the company. And a few lessons I learned from founding the company Insto is that first, please don't make your investors your colleagues. Separate them. Yeah, separate them. Because when someone actually puts in money and comes into operation, he or she will feel like to have a sense of ownership. And when you are actually the founder, it could cause conflict. And second, bad things can be good. Good things can be bad. Why? Remember in 2014, I lost my CTO. At the time, everyone was in panic. They said, oh, we are in doomsday, the company's over. But then we still have the money, at the time, maybe like 250,000 left. And after the CTO left, I actually recruited an even better team. That's like a team of 4 or 5 developers. That's way better than just one super CTO. And the third, in 2014, after we delivered the first version of the service, I started to approach investors, but no one was gonna invest. And for like 8 months, I end up empty-handed, giving like presentations after presentations. But at the end, we got the top-notch angel investors in the Valley who saw this could be a billion-dollar business and led the investment. So if no one understood you, it might be because that they are simply not good enough. So don't be frustrated. Believe in yourself. And the fourth point, during the past 4 years, we keep pivoting from person-to-person installment payment to installment payment and customizable schedule payments. And we continue to enhance our ability to offer more service. So I think startups should be like amoebas. You have to keep transforming. What doesn't work, do not stop. Just keep transforming until it's working. I don't like to call it pivoting because we did not really change like 180 degrees. We just kept listen to what the market needs and then adjust ourselves to fit the market. And here's a bit about myself. Even though I have spent the past 20 years in the internet space, my real background was actually an artist. I studied fine arts since junior high school to college. Over 10 years spent in fine arts. But then because I love computer and I self-learned programming since I was 12, so I got a degree in computing and mathematics from England, University of Teesside. And I had a big mix of background in art and technology, but to me, I love creation, whether it's a piece of artwork or a website or an app. Anything that's innovative, to me, that's a creation. And here I have a little video that I would like to show what Insto is about. So could you help me to play this? Oh, sorry.
Amy loves teaching art classes, but collecting the payments from each student each week, that she can do without. So Amy uses Insto to collect payments for her classes automatically. She tells her students, "I'll Insto you," and never has to worry about tracking down late or missing payments. Setting up a deal with someone new is so quick, Amy can do it on the spot. Insto works with your credit or debit card and lets you set whatever payment terms you choose. So Amy asks her student Frank for $40 a week for 12 weeks, and it's a done deal. But she doesn't stop there. Amy can use Insto to make a big purchase more manageable by breaking it up into regular installments. Her friend Doug has been wanting to buy her used car, but never seems to have enough cash on hand to pay for it. So Amy says, "Look, I know you can't do $3,000 in cash, but how about you Insto me $300 a month for 10 months? Doug appreciates that flexibility and asks, "What about $250 for 12 months?" So Amy adjusts the terms of the transaction on the fly. Now, we can't fault Doug for always being short on cash. His roommate isn't the most responsible when it comes to paying his half of the rent on time. So to avoid that awkward conversation, Doug decides to insto his roommate. "Are you cool with setting up a scheduled payment for the rent?" asks Doug. "Sure, just insto me," says Rupert, and the social tension is gone. Now Rupert's thinking about what he'll be able to afford with Insto, and technically yes, Rupert could purchase this majestic ocean creature in installments. But how about something a little less endangered? Rupert thinks this painting would make the perfect cover art for his band's next album, so he decides to try instoing it. But the owner of this gallery is one step ahead. Marjorie already uses Insto to negotiate sales for big-ticket items. How big of a ticket are we talking, Rupert wonders.
Insto me $250 a month for 10 months, and you can walk out now with that painting.
Marjorie appreciates the flexible terms she can create for every deal, and that flexibility comes in handy when life takes you by surprise. Let's turn that into a skylight. I know just how to finance it. When you need to schedule flexible, automatic payments or pay for anything in installments, Insto is the answer. Insto. Afford anything.
So this is our launch video, and we had actually 3 more video for the Taiwan launch, but I'm not gonna play them because they are like in Chinese, Mandarin. And that's my story of founding Insto, and I hope this somewhat painful experience can give you guys some insight of how to avoid some mistakes I have made during the startup process. Thank you.